Electric vehicles are often seen as the future of transportation, quiet, clean, and cutting edge. More and more drivers are considering switching from gas-powered cars to EVs, motivated by lower running costs, environmental concerns, and the promise of new technology. But before you jump on the EV bandwagon, it's important to know that electric vehicle ownership comes with its own unique set of challenges, many of which aren't always discussed in advertisements or mainstream media. In this video, we'll cover the 10 most important drawbacks of owning an electric vehicle that every potential buyer needs to know. From charging difficulties and battery concerns to long-term costs and resale value, we'll break it all down so you can make the most informed decision possible. Let's start with the most common day-to-day issue that EV drivers face. 1. Public charging infrastructure problems. One of the biggest selling points of EVs is the idea of charging your car at home or while out and about. But while home charging can be convenient, relying on public charging stations is another story entirely. Public chargers are often unreliable. It's not unusual for drivers to arrive at a charging point only to discover it's offline, malfunctioning, or in use. And in some cases, the station hasn't worked in days. Unlike gas stations, which are standardized and everywhere, public EV chargers vary widely in speed, availability, and functionality. Many charging networks also require different apps, memberships, or RFID cards, adding another layer of hassle. Instead of simply tapping your card and plugging in, you might have to download an app, set up a payment method, and wait for the system to sync, which isn't ideal when you're already in a rush. Even fast charging stations, known as DC fast chargers, can be frustrating. They're less common, often located far apart, and might have long wait times depending on where you are. While Tesla's supercharger network is widely considered the most reliable, most other charging networks still fall short in terms of availability and performance. 2. Unpredictable range and charging speeds. Another major concern for EV owners is the inconsistent driving range. Automakers often advertise ranges of 250 to 400 miles per charge, but real-world results can vary greatly. Several factors affect range, including temperature, terrain, driving style, cargo weight, and even wind. In cold climates, for example, EVs often lose 20 to 30% of their range due to battery chemistry and the power needed to heat the cabin. Likewise, high-speed highway driving drains the battery faster than city driving. Towing, carrying heavy loads, or driving in hilly areas also cuts down on your effective range. Then there's charging speed. Even on a DC fast charger, it can take 30 to 60 minutes or longer to get to 80% charge, especially with larger battery packs. And while that's fine for occasional use, it becomes inconvenient during road trips, especially when chargers are few and far between. 3. Battery degradation. Over time, all lithium-ion batteries degrade. It's simply how the chemistry works. As your EV ages, its battery will lose capacity and your range will shrink. On average, EVs lose around 5 to 10% of battery capacity over the first 100,000 miles. That means a 300-mile range might eventually shrink to just 270 or less. While that may not sound too bad, the real issue is long-term ownership. As the battery continues to degrade year after year, drivers who keep their vehicles for a decade or more may find the range becoming increasingly limited. This is particularly concerning in colder climates or rural areas where charging options are scarce. Choosing EVs with longer ranges or larger battery packs can help offset this issue, but it doesn't eliminate the long-term impact of battery wear. 4. Frequent and costly. Many EV owners report having to replace tires twice as often as they did on their previous gas cars. High-performance EVs in particular chew through tires at a much faster rate. So, while maintenance might be lower in some areas, the cost of tires can quickly eat into your savings. 5. Complex repairs and limited service availability. One of the biggest misconceptions about EVs is that they're simple to maintain. While they have fewer moving parts than internal combustion vehicles, they are still filled with complex electronics, sensors, computers, and cooling systems. When something goes wrong, whether it's a faulty battery cell, malfunctioning control module, or broken infotainment system, repairs can be difficult and expensive. Even simple diagnostics require specialized tools and knowledge that most independent shops still don't have. For certain brands like Tesla or Rivian, repair network access is limited, and parts availability can be a challenge. Some owners report waiting weeks or even months for repairs. That lack of accessibility can be a major inconvenience, especially if you're in an accident or if something breaks while you're traveling. 6. Unknown long-term durability. We've had over a century to perfect gasoline-powered engines, and the most reliable brands have earned their reputation through decades of performance. Electric vehicles, on the other hand, are still relatively new. Most mass-market electric cars have only been on the road for the past 5 to 10 years. This makes it difficult to predict how these vehicles will hold up after 12, 15, or 20 years. Will the electronics still function properly? Will replacement batteries be available and affordable? Will brands still support software updates or offer parts for older models? Without long-term data, buying an EV is still a leap of faith. Time will tell if these vehicles are as durable as their gas-powered counterparts. 7. Battery replacement costs. While battery failure isn't common, it does happen, and when it does, the cost is massive. Replacing an EV battery can cost anywhere from $10,000 to over $20,000, depending on the vehicle. That's more than the value of many used cars. Most EVs come with 8 to 10-year battery warranties, which offer peace of mind in the short term. But if you're the type of driver who keeps vehicles for longer, this becomes a serious concern once the warranty expires. 9. Higher insurance premiums. Insurance costs are another area where EVs can surprise new owners. While electric cars are generally safe, often earning top crash test ratings, they tend to be more expensive to repair after an accident. Even minor collisions can require specialized parts, recalibration of cameras and sensors, or replacement of structural components. This drives up the cost of claims, and insurers respond by raising premiums. As a result, EVs can cost significantly more to insure than similarly priced gas vehicles, especially for newer drivers or those living in high-cost areas. 10. High purchase prices. Last but not least, and perhaps the biggest barrier of all, is the initial purchase price. Electric vehicles are still significantly more expensive than internal combustion cars. And even entry-level EVs are often out of reach for budget-conscious buyers. Luxury EVs easily push past $60,000 to $80,000, while even compact or economy models tend to hover around $35,000 or more. Conclusion: should you still buy an EV? There's no question that electric vehicles offer some big benefits: cleaner energy, less maintenance, and a smoother driving experience. But it's important to weigh those advantages against the real-world trade-offs that come with EV ownership. For many drivers, the best option today might not be a full EV, but rather a plug-in hybrid, offering the best of both worlds with no range anxiety and fewer infrastructure challenges. Technology is evolving fast, and within the next 5 to 10 years, many of these problems will likely be solved. Until then, knowing what you're getting into is the key to making a smart purchase. If you found this breakdown helpful, consider watching our next video where we compare electric cars to hybrids and find out which one makes the most sense for your lifestyle.